Hello everyone, my name is James Suhan. I'm a graduate support engineer here at E1 Solutions. And in this video, I'm going to go through just some basic stuff that comes to setting up a server if you're going to host a gateway, which most of you will have like a DMZ or app server, whatever you want to use. But if you're spinning one up fresh, then there's a few other things that I always like to make sure are there that we just have available. It's just more just kind of based around more IIS.NET functionality is kind of the big key of all this, which, all right, let's just get into it. So I'm here in my virtual machine. Same place, this is like very similar spot where people host many gateways, kind of just stuff goes from there. So what I'm just gonna start by opening up the server manager. And one of the big things that we want to make sure that we have, so we're just going to go add roles and features. So I'm going to kind of break these down, which, like I said, these aren't like fundamentally changing anything. They're not going to break nothing. They're more just local things that I've noticed will help in setting up the gateway, which it's primarily based around some extra features that will work with the IIS that makes setting up the gateway on the networking side just a little bit easier. So we're going to start off with role-based or feature-based. And we're just going to keep it pretty simple with the server selection. So server roles, most of the stuff's pretty much already here. It already exists. All sorts of fun stuff like that. And then here on this, we have web server IIS. So for management tools, we want IIS6 so we can have that basic functionality. We also want IIS in general. And then we go into web server. And this is where a lot of these come into factor. So there's a lot of stuff here, which most of these should be installed by default. Health and diagnostics, same thing. A lot of these are there. Obviously, there's security, which is more based around support, app development, which this is one of the key ones that we do want to pay attention to because we want the .NET extensibility 3.5 and 4.7, as well as the ASP. Just because these are stuff that works a lot with the gateways that we need. We need this functionality in order to run it, allow it to work, everything to read properly, and just allow all the encryption and everything to do what it needs to do to get done. So then we go over to features, where we want the .NET Framework 3.5, which contains all the good .NET stuff that we still want. Like I said, we want that .NET Framework stuff in there. It helps it run, it makes it work, it's kind of not needed. Then we want to make sure we have HTTP activation. Non-HTTP is optional. It's not something you really need. HTTP, you do need that one. That is needed. So now we can go down to the .NET 4.7. I obviously want .NET Framework 4.7 as well as the ASP.NET 4.7. And then we get a section here for WCF services. So the big thing we want HTTP activation, same as the 3.5. And we want TCP activation. TCP port sharing is okay if you really want to use it. You don't need it because worst case, we can always just run the gateway through a different port. If something's already used in 4.4.3, we can run it through 8.4.4.3, 9.4.4.3, 11.4.4.3, something static port, something like that. But you can have it on there if you want, but usually we just recommend using a different port. But TCP activation, we do need that just for the specifics of we're going to be using this port. And then pretty much everything else should be good to go here. This is more just like Windows PowerShell stuff, kind of basics. So it's pretty much the main thing is going to be anything related to .NET. We want to make sure we have that extensibility brought in and used for the gateway. As the gateway primarily runs off .NET, we use a lot of .NET stuff. One of the features in the prerequisites is .NET Core Hosting Bundle, which works in tandem with the .NET 3.5 and the .NET 4.7 and their ASP variants. It's all just working together to make sure the gateway runs smoothly. all the data that goes through is encrypted. We can utilize that full security, and we're able to host it, run it, and everything works pretty nice and smooth on the IIS. So now if I pull up the IIS itself, oh, there's a couple of them. There we are. So I'll just full screen this for the sake. As you can see here, got some gateway stuff set up. Got a couple GP gateways, stuff like that. Go under sites. We got a lot of different things going on here. CRM, all sorts of fun stuff. We got our main GP gateway app. But now we also have like these .NET features as well, which very rarely you're going to have to actually go in and touch those or mess with them at all. Or with the default, yeah, you're pretty much never going to have these. But it's more of just what goes in with that allows us to run a lot better, run a lot smoother, run a lot nicer. Kind of the big keys with that. And then obviously the .NET Core hosting bundle is the other big key component, where you need that or else it's not going to run. Which I believe I have that. Yep, I just have it right here. Simple, straightforward. Just adds in extra ASP features, really just allows that to run to its full potential, do what it needs to do.